Nothing encapsulates this more than the time. Instead of writing an actual original joke, the production team of Family Guy just lifted a video from YouTube wholesale and then accused the person who did that of ripping them off.
Okay, so to start with, that sounds like a dick move. So what's going on?
Well, the story to this goes all the way back to the halcyon days of 2016. Do you remember 2016, Nisha, where we thought that was the worst life could get? And the world was just terrible and all the celebrities were dying. And we thought, it can only get better from here. And we fast forward of Peter Griffin and Cleveland Brown play the game Double Dribble for the NES. Cleveland are playing Double Dribble and Peter exploits a well-known glitch in the game that allows you to sink a three-pointer every single time as long as you stand on the exact right point on the court. And while he's discussing this very well-known glitch, just footage of the game plays.
All right, bring it up the court and corner three!
No, that's what I'm talking about.
Steal! Up, corner three!
Well, I know Family Guy is known for like cutaway gags that last for ages. So how long does this scene? How long does this scene actually last?
Well, this joke, and I'm using that, I'm making big air quotes, Nisha, I know you can't see me because you're far away at the moment, but it goes on for a solid minute, during which they just show footage of the game Double Dribble, as Peter and Cleveland talk over it, and they discuss this glitching on Cleveland, much to his annoyance.
There was one episode, or one cutaway gag, which probably people don't find funny, but I thought it was quite funny at the time, which I always remember, is where Peter's stuck behind Robert Loggia.
Oh, R for Robert Loggia. Yeah, I know that one. It's not funny, but I remember it.
Because I quite like stuff with, there's repetitive jokes. I mean, some don't work.
Oh, you must love Family Guy then.
Some gags in it, I'm just like, yeah, okay, that's not that funny, but it has its moments.
Yeah. I contend there's only one. The one where he's got a frog in a box and it's dead and he's trying to get it out of a window and he's just picking it with a box and trying to flip it out. There's something about it, it's not funny at first, but then it goes on for so long it starts being funny, and that's probably because that joke is essentially just a rip-off of the most famous example of that, which is the one in The Simpsons. And he steps on, I think it's 11 rakes in a row, and the reason that joke exists is because, again, they needed to pad for time, and someone just had the suggestion of, why don't you just make, Sideshow Bob step on 11 rakes? And their reasoning was that stepping on 1 rake's funny, stepping on 5 rakes isn't funny, but by the time he gets to the 11th rake, it starts being funny again. Really lazy and just put an entire minute of our episode on one joke. That's not funny.
I was just going to say, I think my favourite joke from Family Guy is, I think there's really quick cutaway clip where Peter's like, I forgot how to sit. And he just face plants a chair.
This reminds me of how World War II started or something. And it's just like a really weedy Hitler trying to lift tiny weights. And he looks over and sees this huge buff Jewish guy just going, ha 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 ha, all women on his arm. It's so stupid and so surreal and dark. I kind of love it. But in that vein, Nisha, speaking jokes that aren't funny and go on way too long, what is the example of that sticks out most in your mind? Because I have one, and I think when I mention it, the people who are aware of it will go, oh my God, I erased that from my mind.
I don't find funny is when him and that chicken just keep beating each other up.
This is one where it is the only time I have ever contemplated walking out of a cinema, and it is in the movie 43. Do you recall this movie at all, Nisha?
Yes, I think it's the first joke.
The Hugh Jackman's got balls on his chin, yeah. Well, that's the thing is though, that's okay. But the one that I'm talking about tonight, it's the one where it's painfully unfunny, is where it's Robin goes on a date. Don't worry folks, here's a clip showing how good the jokes are in that scene.
Hey, where you been? Hi, how you doing? You missed your meeting with your parole officer.
Parole officer?
And now imagine that for 10 straight minutes. It is exactly as painfully unfunny as you imagine, and it's the only time I've ever contemplated walking out of a film because it was just so bad and so unfunny.
Moving it back to Family Guy episode, where did they get this game footage from? Because I'm assuming they didn't make it themselves.
Of course they didn't, Nisha, because that would require time and effort and skill. What they did instead was they hopped onto YouTube and got a video just downloaded that and then put it into the episode in its entirety. And if You're currently thinking, oh, man, that's a really fucking lazy solution to get footage for that joke. It gets just a little bit worse, because if you type in on YouTube, just double dribble glitch, it is literally the first result that you get. Which means that the production team of Family Guy couldn't even scroll down to the bottom of the page to see if there was any other results. They just used the one at the top of the search. And it didn't hit him either, presumably because they thought, well, it's footage of a game. And I know this is a big argument around copyright of like, okay, is footage of gameplay like copyrightable? And I'm not sure where on it I lie. I think a cutscene, if you just upload a cutscene, that's fair enough. But if these are, however, minuscule differences between people, I think at that point that's when you start to credit people. And if people have watched our videos, you'll notice that if we are directly referencing a game and we use a cutscene, we'll credit the people who made the game. But if we use actual gameplay, we'll credit the people responsible for that gameplay. Whereas Fox and the Family Guy makers are now, fuck it, who gives a shit? It's just footage off YouTube. Just stick it wholesale in our episode. Bollocks to the guy who actually went out and demonstrated the glitch. And it gets just a little bit worse. Obviously, Nisha, now that footage is in an episode of Family Guy, that means Fox owns it, right?
Oh no.
Like, Fox, well, obviously, yeah, it's in the episode of Family Guy. So what happened was, despite that video being online for I think like several years at that point, the guy.
Oh, that's so stupid.
You know, the same TV show that had just taken his footage wholesale and used it without any accreditation or permission.
Yeah, it's now their footage, and he's in the wrong. He's obviously copying their joke.
Oh, he's stealing their footage, despite the fact that, they took it from him, and it later emerged that, no, it was a YouTube copyright robot that did it. Yes, Nisha, and it happened in the same episode, because in that same episode, they also used footage from the game Tecmo Bowl, and went on YouTube, found a YouTube video with footage of the game in it, ripped it off wholesale and put it in the episode, and then that guy also got copyright struck.
Here we go. Bye-bye.
See, Peter, he's too fast.
I can't believe they did it in the same one, in the same episode.
And that, to me, I think is just a summation of how lazy Family Guy got, and probably still is. I've not watched it in fucking years. They're just putting in, well, yeah, I get it, but they pay like millions of dollars per episode. And my favourite part is when Fox were reached out to for comment, they said, well, yeah, with point did anyone involved display any sense of self-awareness about the fact that you are so aggressively pursuing your copyright, that you are copyright striking stuff. No, we're not going to apologise for pursuing our own copyright. And or they're going to take a leaf from there, but and just steal content from someone else and paraphrase one of my... So Nisha, we've been on YouTube for a couple of years at this point now, and we have had several run-ins with the YouTube copyright robots, correct?
Yeah, quite a few times.
And I'm not even sure of how many videos have actually been copyright struck by YouTube, but my usual port of call, as mentioned earlier, because you want to just educate the audience about what happens when a video gets a copyright strike on it.
Well, what happens is we upload a video and it goes up fine, and then the next minute we look at it and it's flagged for copyright, and it won't tell you what's wrong with it, but you have to ask for someone a manual check of it to make sure is actually alright to be monetized. And majority of the time it's fine. Someone will check it over and it's fine, but they won't say.
It is that you are not able to make money from that video, and instead all money made from a video goes to the person who filed the copyright claim. And as you might imagine, lovely audience at home, that greatly incentivizes massive companies to just take the videos down, because I detest the idea that we put a dozen, 2 dozen hours of work into making a video. We use for use, they get to make all the money from it. And for a little behind the scenes information that makes this just a little bit scummier, when a company files a copyright claim against your video, you have to file obviously a counterclaim and say, I believe this constitutes fair use. And the language of the menus you click through when doing that is incredibly frightening from someone who's maybe just making YouTube videos for fun, where it says stuff like, if it's found that your claim is without merit, your entire channel may be at risk. Which obviously, as just seeing that, a lot of people will just say, well, fuck it, just let them have the money. And I always fight it because I know, no, fuck you. And you never get a justification from the company who file the claims, which is one of the things that pisses me off. The other thing that pisses me off though is that when YouTube, finally gets around to addressing a copyright claim. Nisha, for the audience at home, would you like to just or not, something constitutes fair use?
Don't they go to the actual company who gave us the copyright strike?
And for anyone thinking that can't be true, I shit you not, YouTube's solution to, like, you know, companies filing, like, you know, copyright claims against videos is to let the company itself decide whether or not it constitutes fair use. And if they click a button that just says, like, we don't agree, they get to continue taking all the money that video makes. And again, that highly incentivizes companies to always just click no. Why would they not? It's like, oh, they're basically being asked, do you want to keep taking money that this video makes or not? And once the company clicks that, like, you know, no, like, no, it's not fair use, you have no further recourse. Like, you cannot take their content just, like, really lazily censored. And I just thought people might be interested to find out, like, that's how broken the copyright claim system is for YouTube.